What appears magically simple in a movie often takes a lot of effort behind the scenes. Conservation filmmaker Glenn Chambers and his friends learned that filming Canada geese is no exception.
Looking this way. Come on, hey guys, come on. Okay, let's go. Head around. Now, right, looking good. We're making a motion picture about restoration of the major wildlife species in the state. And of course, the Canada goose is one of the great stories we have to tell about wildlife restoration in the state, because we're talking about birds here that were, these were Canada goose that once we thought they were extinct. I started working on it a couple of years ago to get permission from the Fish and Wildlife Service to do this, to get the eggs flown here. I went up and started talking to them when they were still in the eggshell. They got to know me right away, and after the birds had hatched, I brought them down. We introduced them to the Graham family. I had talked with them way over a year ago about getting into this project, and I told them it's going to be a lot of work, and they understood.
We put one through college, we got one starting to college and one in high school, and I figured that was the end of my little children until we ended up with these 5 geese. But it's been very, very enjoyable. We've learned tremendous amount about the living of geese and how they get along in the environment and their mating and everything else. So it's been a great experience, just like raising a child. I don't think any of us had a distinct job. Each one did their own thing. Favorite job was the exercising job. That's when we take them out and fly them. It's nerve-wracking. We never did know whether they were going to come back for sure. And sometimes they had a little trial flight that they got a little farther away than what we anticipated, but with our calling, they came back, and I would say that's what I enjoyed the most.
You have to have a lot of patience with these geese, because like we said before, they're like little kids. They don't always do what you want them to do. So you have to learn to work with them instead of working against them, just like normal children.
To us, the Graham family and myself, we're the parents, and these are the babies. And they're going to go just like any other mammal or bird. They're going to stay with the parents, and they just view us as mom and dad. And where we are, that's where they want to be too. Ah, perfect.
By imprinting the very young birds on their voices and a red windsock, Glenn and the Grahams were able to train the birds to follow them just about anywhere.
Imprinting is a phenomenon that occurs mainly in waterfowl, but also some other bird species. During the early hours of life and right after they come out of the egg, and the time just before that, the items that they see and hear during that time, they're imprinted on it for a good period of time, sometimes for a lifetime. The 3 get up past the jetty. The reason I wanted to imprint these birds is that with imprinted birds, you can get so much different angles, different camera angles, extreme close-ups of the birds flying. You can gain a real appreciation for what a bird looks like in flight. Now, when you see my stuff, you'll be able to see muscles moving, you'll be able to see feathers doing their thing while the birds are in flight. It's a lesson in something that's really neat in the world of the birds.
When you see geese in the wild, you don't really, get up close enough to see what they act like, and you just want to sit down and watch geese. I'd sit there for hours and watch our geese and just see what they do, and you learn a lot about them.
Guido, she's the little girl, she's the smallest. She's the one that talks the most. Big Boy, he's the biggest one. He's probably the most photographic that we have. You get to know each personality, and you get to know how to treat them when you're out there flying. So they're all different.
Gosh, they're just tremendous. They each have their place in the hierarchy here in the pen, and they each, there's a pecking order. They're very, very attuned to anything that happens in the sky overhead, and they watch continually for predators, anything in the shape of a hawk or an eagle or something like that really gets their attention. I'm expecting about a year from now that the effect of the imprinting that we've had on the birds will begin to wear off, and that the birds are going to be more attached and inclined to go with other geese rather than to stay with people. We're going to let these birds revert back to the wild right here on the premises where you see them. We're going to, after the hunting season is over, we're going to open the gate, place feed down here. These birds will act then as a call flock. They will call geese in here. When those geese leave, they'll go with them.
We will miss them. But it'll be neat if they will come back and have some little goslings of their own. And when the wild bunch comes in, I'm sure that we're all going to go out here on the sun deck and holler and scream, and hopefully somebody will break off and come over and talk to us a little bit like they have all summer.